Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Raquel.
And this is the Whole Shebang Podcast. Hello, and welcome to episode 1, titled, Hi, We're Foreigners, Adventures in the UK.
I'm really impressed you said that without laughing.
Exactly. Straight-faced it all the way. Okay, so we're going to talk this time about our adventures. We went overseas this past summer to...
In June. So June 2024.
And we went to London, England, and Scotland.
Yeah, a couple places in Scotland.
So we're going to talk about that. So why did we go there in the first place, Raquel?
That was my fault. So I was accepted to present in a conference on private religion, which if you're curious, I can talk about some other time. It was an in-person conference in London, and Bailey had been talking a lot about traveling because we haven't in a while. And we've gone on many little excursions, but never anything big. And I said, hey, I got this opportunity to go present in London, and do you want to come? And for some reason, she said yes. And I didn't believe her. So then I made her book all of our flights so that she'd actually have to come because she said yes before and not followed through.
Yeah, well, I think we had been talking actually about traveling to London since high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a big trip that we wanted to take. And so when you got that opportunity and I finally looked up flights, I realized it wasn't as expensive as I thought. And a lot of my anxiety about traveling overseas was just dogs and taking care of everything, even though I didn't have to worry about the dogs because they honestly didn't give a shit that I left. So
you were so disappointed when we got back and they didn't even care. They were more interested in the fact I was standing there.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Rip my feelings.
Your horse was happy to see you.
My horse was the only one happy to see me. I went and saw him after 2 weeks and he was like, oh my God, mother, you're home. My dogs are like, oh, hey, bitch, what's up? Totally different thing. So he is my favorite child. He is the favorite child, my horse.
So yeah, I got the opportunity to present in London. We started looking up things to do, and obviously there are thousands of things to do just in the city of London alone. But we decided about 10 days, accommodating a couple days of travel to and from Canada and the UK. And then I said, hey, how about we just go to Scotland because it looks really pretty there and I think we'll both really like it. And Bailey said, yeah, of course. So we had to decide if we were going to fly from London or take the train or drive. And we kind of played with each of the ideas and figured flying would give us more time to explore Scotland, which is something we decided to prioritize over the rest of the UK, which, of course, if we ever went back, we'd both have agreed we want to see the rest of it and all the other things we missed. And even just in Scotland, we only got to see a very small amount of stuff.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip. I am super glad we went. We're going to just talk a little bit about what we got up to down there, which was a lot. I think we were down there for 10 days.
Roughly, yeah.
4 days in total travel time. We ended up flying in very sick to
Edinburgh Airport.
Where we had a layover.
And we found a little corner and died in it.
We died. We both thought we had food poisoning.
Our flight was also overnight, so we left around 10 p.m. our time and arrived in the afternoon there, which was awful. Neither of us really slept.
No, like if you ever want one way to just jumpstart yourself on a time zone, especially overseas, like a 5-hour time difference, just don't sleep.
Yeah.
Just don't sleep. Be violently ill and don't sleep. That's all I can tell you.
I don't remember much of our plane ride from Edinburgh to London because we did that in the same day. It was just cheaper to fly from Toronto to Edinburgh than from Toronto to London. So we transferred there. And by the time we got onto the plane to London, I was so tired. As soon as they said, put your seatbelt on, I was gone.
Yeah. And you know what? Their airplanes down there, fantastic.
Yeah, it was EasyJet.
EasyJet was amazing. Cheap tickets. The
very
seats
comfortable.
were comfortable. Like I too was. I was out like a light the second we got there, and then we arrived in London and Did we take the tube or whatever it is?
We took the train because we flew in outside of London, not quite Heathrow,
right.
but one of the other airports. So we had to figure out how to take the train, which entertained the Ticketmaster.
Yeah, it didn't. So we
had no idea where we were going.
We have no idea where we were going. I am from a small town. I'm not from Toronto. I don't live there. I don't do anything like that. I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of that works. I got there and I was this country bumpkin from fucking middle of nowhere Canada. So I may have walked up to the Ticketmaster or whoever it was trying to let us out, and I said, hey,
It was a security guard. She's standing there helping people out. And you walked up to her as seriously and as confidently as you possibly could and said,
"Hi, we're foreigners." She probably remembers this to this day. The look on her face.
She just shook her head and says, I don't need to know that.
I don't need to know that, but this is how you get through the gate. I scanned the ticket. That's all I had to do.
Common sense.
Common sense. I don't have that.
Well, to be fair, we did not sleep.
No, we didn't
in
sleep.
Almost 24 hours.
No. But then we were in London and it was fantastic. And then we got to the hotel and we literally just went to bed.
Well, you went and had dinner. I went to bed. Nothing was happening that day.
Yeah, I don't know why I even had dinner. I was like falling asleep and it was so awkward in the restaurant alone, sitting at this little loungy table.
Yeah, it wasn't even normal restaurant tables. It was a full lounge.
It was like a lounge and then they brought you food and it was so weird. So I just got up,
it
paid
was
my bill,
awkward
and
being
left.
there together too, so I can't imagine being alone.
Yeah, I know, being alone, I was like, I'm gonna go back to my room now. Okay, that's cool. Okay.
So then day one, you woke up way before I did because I sleep a lot and I was feeling like death.
I did, so I went on a little adventure.
Yeah, you walked around the park by the hotel.
I did. I went for breakfast first, and then I decided I'm gonna go take a little jaunt around the park and back. So I did. I went and walked around the park. People were in the park doing yoga. People were there like it was so, people had coffee sitting on park benches. It was beautiful. Like that city is so green compared to what I'm used to.
Okay, so I just looked it up to make sure I had the right one. So we were outside of Russell Square, the little park you walked around at the President Hotel, which is a really nice hotel.
It was a really nice hotel.
Really central, really close. We were so close to the British Museum. I was presenting at UCL, so I was also really close to the campus, which was great for me. So yeah, you walked around, you came back, you said, do you want anything for breakfast? And I groaned at you, so then you went and had breakfast.
Yeah. So then I went and had breakfast because you were like, yeah, no, I'm not eating. And then we walked around that day. That was our big walk day.
Well, it started off with, let's go find somewhere for lunch and we'll just walk and see somewhere. And we found a little cafe. I don't remember what it was called, but we had really good lemonades.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was
the
like a
pastries.
Rose.
Yeah,
it had like a rose lemonade, and then we had a strawberry and chocolate croissant. And it was just down some back alley. I don't know. We were listening to Google Maps anyway. Google Maps was taking us for a ride.
And then I wanted to go see Cleopatra's Needle.
Mm-hmm. So we went there.
Which, if you don't know, is an obelisk that was taken from Egypt. Has nothing to do with Cleopatra, but was titled that because that's what they wanted it to be.
Yeah, and that was along the Thames River.
So then we figured, since we're there, we might as well walk to Big Ben. And then I wanted to see St. James's Park, which is outside Buckingham Palace. So we figured, let's just go for a little walk around all of these really famous places and endure the tourists.
Yeah, the tourists are bad. I mean,
we were tourists.
We were tourists. Okay, we can't say tourists because we were tourists, but like when we went to Cleopatra's Needle and stuff like that, like it was such a nice walk because no one else was there.
Mm-hmm. As soon as we got into St. James's Park, it was packed with people.
It was packed. And I had a mission. I don't like crowds. I was just like, okay, we saw Big Ben, took a picture of it. Great, touristy, let's leave.
Yeah, we went to Buckingham Palace and we waved and filmed a video for my grandfather who told us to say hi to King Charles, so we did. That
was a nice road. I like that road.
Yeah, it was very...
I guess what's it called? The Royal Walk or the Royal Road?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was very nice. Anyway, I like the more secluded parks that we went to.
And then we walked back downtown to go to the London Coliseum to see Spirited Away,
which is phenomenal. I hope they come to Canada because I would really love to go see that again. It was beautifully done.
It was amazing. The chairs were very uncomfortable.
The chairs, like they have not done any renovations of the London Coliseum. Well, maybe they have, not in this part of the Coliseum. Oh, they were small. They were like...
We were squishing in there.
Squished in those chairs. I was like on my tiptoes the entire time we were watching Spirited Away, just being like, I need to move my legs.
We were sitting on the balcony, so we weren't like too close, but you could still see what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like we didn't get the characters' expressions, obviously, because we are far away, but we could still tell everything that was going on stage. We could still see the soot sprites.
The entire play was in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know you're not a fan of watching Japanese things, but like for something like this, it kind of adds to the plot line, right? So it was all subtitled, but they have giant screens with the subtitles, so you always could, see what was going on.
get very distracted by subtitles. I can't focus on subtitles and things that are going on at the same time, so I prefer not to. But I mean, if something is really great in a different language, of course I'm going to watch it with subtitles.
You know what? The ADHD just takes me. It takes me. I need to have I'll be watching a show with subtitles. If the subtitles aren't on, I cannot hear what the show is saying. I can't understand. It's just those wah, 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 wah. That's what it is. I can't.
Yeah, we are both very distracted in different ways, which is kind of a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you have the opportunity to go and see Spirited Away, do it, because I would 100% go back.
Oh, 100%.
And even they had a themed bar with themed drinks, which was a lot of fun. We had bubble tea, which was good.
The bubble tea was good.
So day 2, I had my conference day where I was presenting at 9 a.m. in the morning. So I got up, got ready. You were still nice and cozy and said, see you. And I went to the conference. I had worn shoes I had never worn before, so they ripped up the back of my ankles. So that was great.
That sucks.
I was pretty much bleeding everywhere I went. There was a lot of blood in my shoes. It was really gross. Yeah. One of my friends from school was also in London at the same time we were. So she came to my conference, and another individual I know, acquaintance also from school, was also presenting. So that was great. They were amazing. They gave us a full lunch, which most conferences don't do. Sometimes you're lucky just to get coffee.
I know. With how expensive everything was in London, we were joking that I would go stand outside the window of her conference and she would toss sandwiches out to me.
Oh, we had full rice and potatoes and stir fry and meat, and it was great. They fed us really well. The talk was really good. I discussed graves in the Mesopotamian city of Ur, in houses and housing structures. One day I can talk more about that. But you had your solo adventure day because you were not going to suffer through sitting in a conference for an entire day.
Why would I? We were in fucking London, England. I had never been across the pond before. I had no responsibilities, no dogs. I was you let me loose.
You were weird not having anything to do. I watched you play Pokemon Go for the first time, and you were almost bored because you didn't know what to do with yourself. So that was interesting to see you on vacation bored. But so you had your solo adventure.
I did. My solo adventure was just so fun. So with us traveling, Ricky likes to plan things to the letter.
Oh yeah, a full Excel spreadsheet with days and times and places we were going, color coded, emergency contacts, and the prices of literally everything we were doing to the penny, so that we would know how much each of us had paid and how much we needed to pay, and also other options in case we changed our mind of things we could do. And it was pretty intense.
I am what you would call spontaneous. She told me what to do and where to be, and I showed up. So on the day I had alone was my fun Bailey day, where I literally got to do whatever I wanted whenever I felt like it. So I got lost in London, literally, at some points. Again, I don't know where Google Earth was taking me, but I ended up going down these side streets, and it was so cool because I could see it looked like old tavern signs outside the buildings. I got to wherever I needed to go, and I found the Tower of London, which was one of my big stops, all the way down again by the Thames. And I toured the Tower of London, which was massive. They have a pretty cool war museum there in the Tower of London. They also have a torture chamber.
Nice.
And then they have a place where you can go and see the crown jewels. And then where did I go? It was Anne Boleyn. Who was executed? Someone was executed.
Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn, yeah. And she was buried in the church on the property. So you got to go see where she was buried on the church. And that was super cool. Then I had realized, because I was just doing this to pass time, I had booked a cocktail experience at Avora, it was called. Amazing. So after I wasted some of my time at the Tower of London, not wasted, it was a great time. It was a great time. I ended up going to Avora. So I got lost on that side of London, which was more of the artsier side. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool. This building was just out of nowhere. It looked like it was a sci-fi container ship, and it was awesome. They had like glowing drinks, and they have you get into like this jumpsuit, and they bring you on like this whole story, and it was amazing. So for like $80, I think it was Canadian, you could go and have 3 or 4 cocktails, I think it was, that they give you, and then they take you through this whole story, and it was so fun. It was so interesting.
You were very drunk when I got back to our hotel room.
It was a fun ride home. Yeah. I don't know how much alcohol they put in. Not enough. I don't drink often, so when I do drink, it gets me a little tipsy.
It was pretty funny. You were so excited to tell me all about your adventures. You showed me pictures. You told me about the lady you got stalked by in the park and who creeped you out enough that you had to turn around.
I did get lost on the way back to the hotels because I thought, oh, I know this area well enough now. I'm just going to cut through the park at the back of the hotel and get to the hotel. No, Bailey had been drinking, so she didn't realize she was already on the side of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't need to cut through the park.
And you went around like 6 times.
And I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I was freaking out because I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom now. I need to find the hotel. I couldn't find it until I literally had to look up Google Maps while I was in the middle of the park, literally 100 feet away from the hotel, so it could tell me which direction to go into.
Yeah,
but I made it. I made it back. I'm alive to this day. I'm alive.
And you were there when I got back from the pub, so that was exciting. And you were so excited to tell me about it. I mean, I had to go to the bathroom first, and then you sat there pouting, waiting for me to go to the bathroom so you could tell me about your day in as fast a speaking pattern as you could. You just like shot it at me, what you did, super duper fast. And I couldn't get every other word, so I just nodded my head.
When I get excited, I talk fast.
Really fast.
I do. You know what? I could be one of those guys
I
that work on the
part of it.
auction houses, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, after that was just day 2.
Yeah, so
we did a lot.
No wonder we were so tired by the end of it.
No wonder. We were dead. We didn't want to do anything. But anyway, day 3, because we were there for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we finally got to go to Highgate Cemetery.
So Highgate Cemetery was a place I really wanted to go to. And it comes up in a couple book series that I enjoy. And then I also, for the history part of it, it always sounds really interesting. It looks absolutely beautiful. And you just kind of went along with whatever I wanted to do, which was great.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I don't plan. I just go with the wind, go with the flow.
What neither of us realized is that the bus drops you off at the bottom of the hill of Highgate Cemetery, and you have to hike up the hill before you can even pay to go in. And then while you're there, you're going up and downhill for the entire time. And I think we had anticipated spending an hour and a half there, and we're there for probably about 5 hours.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had to see it all, right? So we went around, we found Karl Marx. Karl Marx was buried there. And we found some other graves. There was one perfect grave. I don't know who it was, but it was in more of the modern section, and it just said dead.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Like, this couple must have had, while they were alive, the most hilarious life.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit more. We have an episode in the future that we have planned to talk about graves and some of the more amusing ones we've seen. So we'll definitely be talking about it. And I'm sure one of us took a picture we could share.
Oh, yeah.
Good humor.
Good humor.
And then you made a friend in the graveyard.
I did, and he didn't follow me home. We survived. He didn't follow me home. He kept company, though, I think, because you caught interesting image.
Spectral image, yeah.
Well, I went down to the catacombs that you refused to go down to.
And I'm not a very superstitious person. You are, but yeah. I'm not. But that picture was a little creepy, and it did feel a little creepy being sitting there alone, so... There
was quite a few graves when you got to the older parts that were knocked
I really liked looking at the older ones, and we kind of went a little, not off path, because there's pathways everywhere, but they don't clear them as much, some of the ones in the back area. So we kind of went down some of the less beaten pathways, which was nice because there's also like nobody there. So it was just us and we could enjoy the day. There was a couple people walking around too.
Yeah, and they actually serve you. So before you go into one part of the cemetery, they actually have coffee.
Yeah, so
and everything sitting there.
We had lattes.
Yeah, we had lattes with hearts and...
So my big thing after Highgate Cemetery was I needed to see the British Museum, of course. So you don't go to London and not see the British Museum at least once.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a dream of mine to work there one day. So I had to go. I had to see, especially the Near Eastern collection. I've worked on a lot of those objects that are on display. So it was really exciting for me to be able to see them in person. But when we got there, because we went in the evening because it was Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
When we got there, part of their Near Eastern collection was actually closed.
Right, yeah.
I had a little bit of a mental breakdown. It was a long day.
Just a little bit of a mental breakdown.
You were able to calm me down enough, and then we found the rest of the Near Eastern collection upstairs. So that was good, but I was really upset I couldn't go in and see the wall reliefs.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking forward to it.
We did go check out the Canada exhibit. We're kind of disappointed by how few things they had for Canada.
It was a lot of Native American art.
Of course.
Which, of course, that's a ginormous part of Canada, but they just...
But even then, it was a weird selection of a couple things from Ontario and a couple totem poles from the Northwest Coast.
Yeah, and for like the amount of culture we have here in Canada...
There are so many cultures in Canada.
It fell flat. It did.
But it was fun to look at and to see how our country was being represented in this museum that's supposed to be a global.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because we went into the Greek galleries and looked at the Parthenon marbles, of course.
Those were good. I like those.
But there was hardly anybody there.
Yeah, like considering Greece is a very
popular attraction and a draw for them, and definitely
like those marble statues were gorgeous. Like the amount of time and effort it took them to carve these out of the marble is just
crazy.
It's fantastic.
But there was hardly anyone there, and then
it was all empty.
We went kind of into Egypt, but Egypt was packed full of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Rosetta Stone, we looked at it, but it was surrounded by a sea of just human figures, so we could hardly get near it.
And then, of course, your Middle Eastern not being open.
Yeah, that was sad.
As much as
I'm glad I got to see the stuff from the Royal Cemetery of Ur, which we went to upstairs, which was exciting. And luckily for me, the Near East isn't super popular, so it was easier to get towards the cases. And I did actually find some things for my dissertation, which was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of people. There's so many people.
Honestly, after that day, I was just like, let's leave. I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. We walked so far.
We are not people.
No, we're not people. And we went to the heart of London. So, surprise.
Yeah, so day 4 was our leaving London, going back to Scotland, and actually staying in Scotland, which we were both really excited about because we needed time away from all of the humans.
We needed time away. And you know what? We had booked this amazing resort that I absolutely fell in love with. If we go back to Scotland ever, I definitely want to go spend 100%. Another week there because it was just fantastic.
But we have to talk about leaving London, which was an interesting experience because we kind of shot ourselves almost in the foot there.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so I'm used to living in Canada where everything gets delayed and nothing runs on time. So we kind of went and we were a little wishy-washy. We were tired, so we were like, we're not gonna go to the airport early because it's.
Yeah, we had to take a train out to the airport from King's Cross Station. And if you've ever been there, you know how crazy busy King's Cross is. We got lost. Totally lost. That's kind of what happened there. And then we were in the tunnel for this train that goes out to the airport, and we were going to be late.
We were going to miss our flight
by almost an hour.
So we were like, oh shit.
We got lost, so then we missed our train we were supposed to take.
We literally we saw it leaving. It was like one of those moments where it's just like the hope dims out of your eyes because you see it just, and we're like, oh no.
So we sat and we were looking, is it gonna be faster if we take a taxi? And it wasn't at all.
No, and it was gonna we had heard from, I think it was your friend that came to the conference with you, that some other people had taken a taxi in London, and to get from the airport they went to their hotel. It was like £200.
It was a lot of money.
So we were like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we ended up missing that train, and then we were looking at the other one, and we were going to be late, but we just kind of had to accept it at that point. There wasn't any other way.
There's nothing we could do. So we sat there, and we were just kind of like, okay, we accepted what we had to. And then I checked our flight status, and it was delayed by 3 hours.
And we were so happy.
That we high-fived.
And we were like, yes, we're freaking delayed.
And then realized there was a lot of people sitting around us who were very confused about why we were celebrating something being delayed.
Right, and the gentleman sitting right next to us started laughing to himself because he was like, oh my god.
Who are these weird foreigners?
Who are these weird people that have no sense of time? Because we were so fucked. But we made it. We got
We
there.
did. And the train ride over was interesting. There were a lot of very intoxicated frat dudes.
Frat dudes who were going to go play golf. Where? I don't know.
They were very friendly.
They were very friendly. They were drinking quite a bit. They had like cases of beer. And I wasn't sure if you could drink on the trains in London, which
No idea.
I still don't know. Because they were like, they had places to put like bottles.
Yeah, some of their
on the
conversation
trains.
was not ideal for the children also sitting near them.
But they were just,
They're very happy.
they were very happy. They asked us when we were getting off, oh, where are you going? And we're like, oh, Scotland. And then they proceeded to tell us it was in the opposite direction. I thought, well, that's why we're taking a plane.
I don't
We
know.
have to go one direction to go to another, okay?
They were so entertained by us, and we hardly said anything to them.
No. And then they were like, oh, what happened with your nose? Did you get into a bar fight? If you don't know, well, you wouldn't know. I wear a nasal strip all the time because I can't breathe without one. And so I wore one the entire time we were in London. They're like, oh, did you get into a bar fight? And I'm like, no, it's just so I could breathe. They were like, oh, that's not exciting at all. And I'm like, well,
Yeah, and then when we told them we were going to Scotland, and they said, oh, you're going in the wrong direction, they all started cheering about it. It was great.
it was great. We got through there. We got on our plane. We caught our flight. It was fine. Even though the guy, when we went to go check in,
Yeah, I was
for
just
our
about to say
flight,
the airport staff was awful.
was so bad because we knew we were late, and so we were going, and they have these things where you can like
Self-check in,
bag
and we had to
in.
check our baggage.
and we had to check our baggage. So when we did that, it malfunctioned. We just didn't have it the right way or whatever. Guy came over and he looked at our tickets. He's like, well, you need to go straight to your flight. You're gonna be late. And we're like, it's delayed 3 hours.
Yeah, we were actually on time.
Like, we're actually on time early kind of thing now that it was delayed. But he was rude.
He might have had a long day.
He might have had a long day. I mean, you get that.
But also there was some mansplaining going on there.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But EasyJet, again, awesome.
Yeah,
airplane.
EasyJet was awesome.
Flew to Glasgow.
Yep.
Had to drive.
Had to drive.
Because
On the opposite side of the road.
Yeah, we decided, let's rent a car. And because we drive automatic, we got a brand new 2024 car.
Great on gas, though. The best car I have ever. It was
Fantastic.
a Nissan Qashqai.
Was it Nissan? Yeah.
It was a Qashqai. Fantastic on gas. I wanted them to fly that thing back over here because I don't know how they build their cars, but not these ones over here. They don't last the same.
So we get there. They don't have the car ready for us because they only have so many. We finally get the car, and all the computer and everything is in German.
Yeah, everything's in German. Thank God you speak a little bit of German so we could change the settings.
Just enough that we could change the settings. And then I drove because you were really nervous about it.
Yeah, I drive in a small town, and with where we were going, I was not comfortable driving.
When we told the women who were working there that at the car rental place that I was going to drive for the first time on the wrong side of the road, they asked if I had ever driven on the 401 in Toronto, which if you don't know is the worst highway in Canada. And I used to do that 4 days a week. Back and forth. So I was like, yeah, they thought I was crazy for that. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not driving when we're down there.
Fun fact, it's worse when you're in the passenger seat.
Yeah, it is way worse. When we were driving to our resort in Kenmore, the passenger seat, their roads are so narrow. They are so narrow.
You are touching the hill pretty much.
You are touching the hill, and you hit a rock, and I thought, oh my God, we are going to have to pay out the value of this fucking car because we hit that rock so hard. And I was like, that oh shit handle was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I hated sitting in the passenger seat when you started driving the next day. It was terrifying.
Yeah, no, and I started driving the next day because I couldn't trust her enough to drive. I was so scared.
I drive in big cities, and she freaks out.
And I freak out. I was more comfortable with me driving. But yeah, in that passenger seat, you're shitting yourself.
I was more comfortable with me driving too.
Yeah, I know.
I just made you drive because then you would deal with the parking.
Yeah, which I can't park straight to save my life. So I don't know why we decided on that.
Because I'm even worse. But we got to our resort. It was still light out. We checked in. It was great. So we stayed at the Kenmore.
Yeah, the Kenmore Resort near Loch Tay. Fantastic. It was cheaper than our hotel in London for 3 days, and we were staying there for I think 4.
Mm-hmm.
Way cheaper, and we got like a whole townhouse.
It was
we
a
got
full
laundry,
townhouse. Huge
fridge, master bedroom,
pull-out couch,
TV, balcony,
full kitchen. Yeah, it was awesome.
after spending, because like the beds in London in the hotel were individual size ice cream sandwich beds. If I were to say anything, they were so tiny. I thought I was going to fall off them
every time.
But yeah, the Kenmore stay was just gorgeous. Right on the lake. They have a restaurant there. They have a tennis court. They have a pool. Like
all the old castle architecture.
Oh, because you're literally in a castle.
Yeah, in the woods.
In the woods on the edge of a loch. So it's just, it was so gorgeous. It was beautiful. I loved it there.
It was really nice.
I definitely would want to go back there.
And people kept saying to us when everyone in Scotland was super friendly.
Oh, they were so awesome.
And they kept saying, oh, it's so cold here. And we would just look at each other like, no, this is beautiful.
It was balmy. It was
15? Like 15.
It was 15, which was just...
As soon as we said we were from Northern Canada, they're all, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, we know where you're from now, yeah.
And we've been warned there would be a lot of bugs, but I don't think people understand what bugs in Northern Canada are like.
No, because I didn't see any bugs.
We didn't even need bug spray.
No, we didn't get bugged by bugs at all.
I mean, here we have black flies and mosquitoes and ticks, and like you can't do anything outside in the summer.
No, you can't enjoy the best time of the year because you might as well not even live here. It's horrible. We went to Kenmore, and then our first day was supposed to be our relax day. We had said in London.
We had said we were exhausted. We're going to take a relaxing day. We're going to sit around. Maybe we'll go for a little walk. So then I started looking up on Google Maps and found out that there were some nice falls and a stone circle not too far away, according to Google Maps, which is a lie.
Okay, so the whole point of this podcast, this episode, do not ever trust Google Maps.
No, it's great. Sometimes.
Not even sometimes. When we were even getting out of Scotland, where did it take us? It took us through farmer's field. I was driving over cattle grates for cows. I don't even know where we were. And you're like, no, Google Maps says this way.
I had forgotten about that.
I was pretty sure we were going to hit a cow. What am I supposed to do to the farmer? Hey, sorry, buddy. I don't know how we ended up on this road. You don't have fences, by the way. I hit a cow.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, we went on your little leisurely walk.
So to get to the hiking trail was almost a 2-hour walk in itself. Mm-hmm. Beautiful walk, that one.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was mostly flat.
Minus the time you got pooped on by the bird.
Oh, yeah. Whoever says that's good luck, that's not good luck. I thought it was starting to rain. I'm like, oh, we're going on this nice walk, and all of a sudden it's raining. No, it's just bird shit.
And then you rubbed it on Castle Ruins.
Hey, nature. It can have that back, okay? It can have that back.
The walk was nice, though.
The walk was nice. It was nice.
It was foresty. There was the loch was next to us. It wasn't hot or too cold, and we just took our time, took a lot of pictures through little towns and other little resorts.
Yeah, they had a pizza place that we didn't get to try on the other side. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to try that because it looked really nice, but we didn't get a chance. But anyway, yeah, it was a super nice walk there.
And then we got to the hiking trail, which Google Maps does not tell you is straight up a mountain.
It's not a mountain. It's a hill. It's a 90-degree hill.
It's bigger than the mountain we have here in the city.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you that.
So we started walking up this trail, which goes behind someone's house.
It's so, like, you're wondering if you're trespassing on private property. Because all we were doing was walking by, like, the stone walls in Scotland.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Beautiful stone walls. And like all these pastures were just like stone walled pastures with wooden fencing to keep all the sheep in. But you literally go behind this guy's house and up this fucking straight ass hill.
Farming road, which was gravel.
Which was all gravel and like straight up.
And right next to a sheep field.
Several sheep fields. Like it went all the way up.
So we walked about, 20 minutes and I was done. After an hour and a half of walking, I couldn't do it anymore. So I said, you go on ahead, and you did.
And I did. And I went because we were going to go see the falls. And then they had a little cave system you can go through there, which was super fun. So I hauled my ass up this 90-degree hill because I'm like, I'm not walking this fucking far and not seeing something.
Yeah, so she left me there.
The falls were disappointing just because I guess they were in the drought. There wasn't much water coming from them. The cave was cool. I think it was called the Hobbit Cave. And that was cool to go through because you can go through the Hobbit Cave and then you can go see the falls. But I wanted to see if there was a different vantage point, so I walked all the way up. And then I found these nice, gorgeous stone bridges and everything up there, which, like, picturesque pictures.
Yeah, well, you were doing that. I was sitting on a stone wall being judged by sheep and texting my mother. and taking pictures of bumblebees because apparently they have white bottoms in Europe and not here. So that was super exciting.
That was super exciting. Yeah, I was off exploring. I was
taking pictures of the scenery.
I did too. Not as much. I mean, I wasn't being judged by sheep.
I was
but
definitely being judged by
so
sheep.
Because it was so far up, like it was a 90-degree hill. I'm not used to walking 90-degree hills.
No.
But there were other hikers that did it as like a stroll. They were strolling by me. So every time they came by, I held my breath so they wouldn't see that I was fucking panting my ass off. I was like,
I did too. Every time they saw, I'd wave and be like, hi, I'm just taking pictures of the pretty bumblebees and flowers.
Right? You guys are acting like this is a Monday morning, just an everyday sort of thing. And here we are going like, oh, this is a hike.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to walk back.
Yeah, which was another hour and a half.
So that was our light day, our day off.
Should also clarify, this was not the first walk of the day we decided to go on.
Oh, yeah, no, before we ended up going on a little walk in a trail by Kenmore. There was just a little forest trail.
Yeah, so there's this little trail just off the side of the resort that kind of went alongside the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So we went in only about 10 minutes, not even that far. And it was very beautiful. We took a lot of pictures. We got to a little creek and decided to turn back because we had planned to walk elsewhere.
Yeah.
But then after this hike, we had dinner and then decided, let's go for another little meander through the little walkway. But then, so we were, I don't even know what we were doing. We were fooling around on our way there, like teasing each other and stuff. And I was chasing you in.
Yeah, you were chasing me, and I don't know why. You were doing something though. I forget
something
what
to
you were bugging
irritate
me.
you. I think I was poking you.
Yeah, I think so. I ran full in, and there was this little.
Well, first there was the father and his kid outside. And
yeah, we thought they were following us in.
Throwing rocks in, and I had this weird feeling of being followed. And I thought they were following us into the woods for whatever reason. I was like, okay, they're just gonna come see what we're looking at.
Yeah. And so like there was this little thing, because I remember you annoyed me so much I had to run ahead of you. And there was this little field of flowers that there was this little pathway through with like an old rundown stump. It was actually quite beautiful. But so she was bugging me, and then I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck off. I ran through, and then I got onto the other side, and I don't know what hit me. I was just like, I don't want to be alone in this forest. So then I waited for her to catch up, and I think we walked maybe 5 more feet.
Yeah, we went a little bit further, and I kept turning around because I just had this feeling, and I thought, okay, they're just coming in, and like, I always feel bad because I know I walk slow, so I always try to make room for people to walk around, and this trail was tiny, so I wanted to make sure they could get past us. But there's nobody coming in.
No, we thought it was the man and his son, and then we were kind of like, yeah, dude, we're kind of done. Like, do you want to go back to the hotel?
Almost the same distance we had gone before, and then I said, you know what, maybe we should turn around.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, we're okay with that. And so we thought, as on our way out, like maybe we'd pass the man and the son, and we'd just be
okay, yeah, whatever.
Okay, yeah, whatever. They were following us. That's why we kind of got the creeps, because I think, didn't you say you heard footsteps?
Yes.
Yeah, like you heard footsteps following us. I didn't hear that because I had fucked off. But I'm like, okay, maybe that's the feeling
it was
that
really,
we're getting.
Really weird. Both of us, the back, you know that feeling that's just like the uncanny valley feeling almost, where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you're just kind of, okay, I should not be in this situation. I was very much feeling that.
Oh, yeah, me too. I walked and it was that instant feeling of, oh, I shouldn't be here. It was really weird. So I waited for you to catch up. I don't want to be alone. And so we ended up getting out of there, and we didn't talk about it until we were
back in the resort fully. And then
after
I said,
you got creeped out by a chair underneath your window.
Well, no, that was before that, because we were walking back, and I said, I felt really uncomfortable in there. I'm glad we left. And you were like, oh, hey, I felt that too. Yeah. And then we got back to our rooms, and there was a chair under the window of our bedroom. Yeah. Which was a little creepy.
It was. So we moved the chair, and thankfully the next morning it was still moved. But I don't know. It was like that. It was the heebie-jeebies. Yeah. You got the heebie-jeebies, because I went and I made sure all the blinds were closed. We both did not sleep. It was just, it was a weird feeling.
Yeah. It was awkward.
It was so weird. But yeah, everything was closed. I got a little bit of sleep, but yeah, and thank God that was our last day. Oh, so we do have the days wrong. So yeah, that was not this day. That was the day after. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we did have the days wrong. So that was on our last day. But because we kind of
because we left the next day. I forgot that we left the next day.
We left the next day because it was, oh, thank God it's our it's our last day here because we were freaked out then.
Yeah, and
Still a gorgeous place to go visit. Just don't go down that path.
And I took pictures.
You did?
While we were in there. And then afterwards, we were looking at the photos, and there were weird, almost fae-like faces in some of the areas.
Yeah, because I remember I was texting one of our friends down here, and I was, what are these? Should we be concerned?
And they do look like faces. There are a couple of them.
They do look like faces. And then I got freaked out because you were like, yeah, every one of these pictures has you in it. And I was, oh no, fuck off.
Yeah, they did.
I was like,
uh-huh. So yeah, we almost got spirited away.
Spirited away.
Theme of our trip.
The theme of the trip, yeah. Fucking spirited away.
Oh yeah, so then we did get our days mixed up a little bit. So we're jumping around. Sorry, everyone.
It's been a while. You're hearing the entire trip.
That was day 7.
Yeah, that was day 7. But day 6...
Day 6 was our actual relaxing day.
Yeah, we didn't do much.
We went to the little village of Killin.
Killin. A fucking cute name, Killin.
Beautiful little waterfall.
Yeah, they had a gorgeous waterfall there. It was so picturesque.
It was the cutest little, exactly what you would imagine a Scottish village to look like.
Just a little Scottish village in the middle of the Highlands.
And
so
they had
cute.
a beautiful little castle that we stopped at where the owners of the property just let people come and go. So we did that.
Yeah, it was amazing. They actually have a couple of graves on site too. That was there. And it was by donation, so you can donate, and that would help
We did
them
leave a couple pounds.
Yeah, we left a couple pounds just to help them maintain it because it was just so nice of them to let you just walk in. Everything was so green there.
Mm-hmm. And then we were like, where we were staying was maybe a 2-minute drive to the Connaught Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that we should go there, and I convinced you into it. And actually, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. So basically, it was a historical center where they were talking about people who had settled on the loch
in the Neolithic period.
And it was super cool. The artifacts they have found.
Mm-hmm. The tour was awesome.
Yep.
We got to meet a lot of cool people. One of the people working there was actually from Canada, so that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, and actually quite close to our hometown. Talk about how small
of
the world is. And it's, oh, where are you from? And we're like, oh, here. She's like, oh, my family's from here. And we're like, oh, shit, no, that's 2 hours away.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And she said she had the same experience as we did. She went to Scotland for a little trip, fell in love with the area, and has not left.
I could totally see it. I didn't want to leave.
We were looking up real estate.
I did not want to leave. It was beautiful there. If I could own a house in Scotland, that'd be it.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the interior, which is where we were. It was so nice.
Screw my life. I'd go.
You could dog groom anywhere.
I could dog groom anywhere.
I could go visit you on the weekends if I moved to London.
I know. The only thing that sucks is the Canadian dollar sucks. So
bad, yeah.
Everything you bought down there for a Canadian dollar, you want to go get a pot for like £2? $4.
Mm-hmm.
$4 Canadian. We kind of had to try and remember that because it just takes it.
It was also that day that we booked the pool at the resort. So we had a little swim and a hot tub.
Yeah, and we were the only ones there because you had to book the pool, which was weird. You couldn't just go use it. You had to book it.
But it was kind of nice just being alone in it.
It was. I think they did that probably for COVID.
Mm-hmm. But the whole pool overlooks the
lake and everything like that. It was beautiful.
And then we went to the pub because we loved the pub that was across the road. The pub was
great. And I found this cider that I absolutely loved. And you can't get it in Canada, so I need to go back to drink it.
Yeah, we drank too many ciders.
It was so good.
You went to order another one and they just gave us a whole round.
I know. I went and so it was called Old Mount.
Yeah.
Old Mount cider. Delicious. And yeah, I was like, oh, I'll have another one with dinner. And Ricky had tried the one. So when he came over and I'm like, hey, can I just get one more of these or whatever? And then he brings over 2 and Ricky's like, I ain't drinking that. So I'm like, oh, well, guess I'm drinking another one.
Yeah, we drank them pretty fast too, which didn't help.
Oh yeah, I was so flushed by the time we left.
Good day. And then the next day we woke up early.
Yeah, because it was our drive day. So we were going to drive to Loch Ness.
Yeah, we both really wanted to go to Loch Ness.
Yeah, because you're in Scotland. How can you not go to Loch Ness?
And we didn't really want to stay. We thought about staying up there, but with our discount in Canmore, it was just worth it just to drive. We had the car anyway. And we both drive long distance. We went from one end of Scotland to the other, and it took, 4 hours to get up there and 4 hours back?
Oh, yeah. And that's nothing. If you live in Canada, you know how long it takes to drive from one province to the other. Driving Scotland was nothing.
For me to drive just to school a couple years ago, it would take 2 to 6 hours one way. So...
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is nothing.
That was really fun. So we ended up going to Loch Ness, but before we got to Loch Ness, we stopped at the barracks, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the barracks were cool. It was a castle up on top of the hill.
Yeah, Roman period barracks, which was really interesting. They had a lot of really great info panels.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I found is they had info panels almost on every...
And there was a lot of RVs parked next to it.
Yeah, because I guess in Scotland, a thing that you could do is just camp out without permits or anything.
Which is not something here.
You need to be in designated spots in Canada. But in Scotland, I think it was when we were going over those cattle grates on our drive day that we saw just random tent in someone's cattle field.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't disturb anything, you're free to do that. And that's so cool.
Yeah, the barracks were really interesting.
They were. We got really good pictures of them,
they're
too.
right up on the hill. It was really nice because you got to see everything below us, which is nice as well.
Probably why they were on that kind of hill, because no one was going to storm that. That was uphill.
That was uphill. There was a lot of uphill in Scotland.
It's Scotland. Everything's uphill.
So then we went from the barracks to Loch Ness, and once we got to the Loch Ness Centre, both of us had to go to the bathroom so badly. Because we're used to, in Canada, there are roadside stops everywhere.
And in Canada, usually, too, if you need to use the restroom, restrooms are free.
Yep.
They are not free in the UK.
Some of them.
Some of them are. A lot of them aren't. Like, I know when we went to St. James Park, we
paid with credit card.
We had to pay to use. But I mean, that keeps them clean, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Loch Ness Centre was really cool. We got a fun picture of us, but I was wearing the wrong colored shirt because it matched the green screen, so that was interesting. And yeah, I really liked the tour, actually. I mean, it was a little long, but it was really interesting how they showed the history of the Loch Ness Monster. And then they asked you at the end, do you believe or do you not? Are you on the fence? Which I thought was kind of interesting, that they're giving you all the facts and then making you make your decision at the end, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a great tour.
We did not see the Loch Ness Monster.
We did not. It's out there somewhere. I'll believe it till the day I die.
Uh-huh. And then we drove around Loch Ness. So we went the other direction to get back because we wanted to drive through Glencoe.
Yeah, I really wanted to see Glencoe. I mean, all the pictures that I had ever looked up of Scotland, people just shout Glencoe, and I see why. It is absolutely stunning to go through. We went and saw the Three Sisters.
Beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Full of people.
You get there and there was no parking. I don't understand. Okay, I do understand, but I don't like parking. And of course, so when you're driving in Scotland, all their cars, their driver's side is on the side where the passengers would be in Canada, right? And of course, I parked beside the only person who imported their fucking vehicle, and their driver's side was on the side it was supposed to be. So I go to get out, they go to get out, and I'm hitting their door with my door. And I'm like, dude, get a part of Scotland now, okay? Just get your fucking van. I can't even park straight. You were behind me trying to get me to park straight so I didn't hit shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was like sardines. We had to suck in to get out because it was a fax machine. That's what you were going through.
Yeah.
But anyway, gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I loved it.
Yeah, driving in Scotland, terrifying. Highways, perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah. Highways are perfectly fine. But see, the thing in Scotland is roundabouts and the speed limit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the speed limit was...
I'm used to being in Canada, the speed limit going from anywhere from 90 to maybe 110, maybe.
110,
you go like
usually.
Winnipeg areas. We were talking back roads of fucking Scotland, and it's 97 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
It was terrifying. We almost died several times.
There's no way you can drive that fast.
No, there's no way. And people would ride your ass.
Yeah. But the drive was nice. Very scary.
Oh, yeah.
The wall happened.
So in Scotland, the bridges are almost one-person bridges. And because we were in a touristy area, I don't know if they had bought a car or like rented a car that they were using. They were going slow ass over this bridge. Okay. And I had gotten comfortable driving. I was getting pretty comfortable.
And these are one-way bridges.
And these like almost one-way bridges. I say almost. There was enough room. But I'm going 85. And this person's just crawling over this bridge. They're not even moving. I can't stop. I'm going 85
Down the hill.
down the hill. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, we're going. So I did. We made it. You shit your pants.
Yeah, because the wall was coming right next to the car.
It was so close. And that car, with how many bells and whistles, beeped at fucking everything. So
Except
I'm like,
for the wall.
except for the wall. It didn't beep at the wall. It didn't say like, hey, you're getting a little too close there, buddy. But the leaf, when I went to go park it, it was like, no, you can't park because there's a leaf fluttering down in front of the car. And I was, excuse me?
That was pretty funny.
Excuse me. I just almost hit a wall, but you're telling me this leaf and this hedge, which I could very clearly see, are going to damage you?
The car was also, it would freak out at you if you were driving too fast, which was great on the highways because
Yeah.
we speed.
Yeah, cruise control was used a lot.
Yeah.
I did not want to get pulled over.
No speeding tickets in Scotland.
No.
But, and then, yeah, driving through the little roadways, they pretty much carve out of the trees this
Oh, it
like
was so cool. It was
square
like-
tunnel.
If anyone has ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, just imagine that song, Secret Tunnel.
Yeah, we sang that a lot.
We sang that a lot. It was so cool going through these tunnels. In Canada, they just cut all the trees away.
Mhm.
In Scotland, they just cut them so it would fit whatever was going underneath them and then just left them.
Yeah.
So it was literally a tunnel that you were going through. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. Terrifying. but
Terrifying.
beautiful.
But so much fun. And so beautiful.
So day 8, we drove to Edinburgh.
Yeah, we did. We drove to Edinburgh, and then on our way there, we went and we stopped to see the Kelpies.
Yeah, and we almost got attacked by swans.
Yeah, and I thought, being from Canada, we could probably walk by the swans because we have the knowledge of how to deal with cobra chickens. And
Which are Canadian geese, by the way. If
cobra
you're
chickens.
not from Canada.
they're fucking vicious and they hiss. Okay, they're cobras, chickens.
Yes.
But anyway, I thought, okay, let's just sit and watch because people were turning around and coming back, being like, "Oh no, don't go down this way." But I'm like, okay, let's sit there, let's watch for a second and see what these birds are doing because maybe these people just aren't used to aggressive birds. That's when we saw people like actually walking closer to them and they had their babies. It was the mom and the dad swan and they had their babies and they were fucking attacking people.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny to watch.
It was hilarious to watch. So we're like, oh, we'll just go down this hill here and cut across here.
Yeah, we did have to sidetrack a little, but it was I was not being swan fodder.
Yeah, no, they would have attacked us. I mean, I'm glad we avoided it, but like it was a second where we had to think like, all right, is this gonna be bad?
Yeah, the Kelpies were cool.
The Kelpies were cool, huge Kelpies.
It was nice to walk around. We did the little walk across from them as well, which was like the little bird sanctuary.
Yeah, that was super cool.
And then we meant to waste more time, but we were both so tired.
We were so tired. We're like, okay, let's just go to her hotel.
Yeah, so we dropped off the car in Edinburgh and we said goodbye to our car.
Yeah, thank God, because once we found out that we didn't check anything before we got the car because it looked new, it smelt new. I didn't want to know how much this thing was going to cost if we damaged it, so we just didn't ask.
Yeah, when we got there, we asked what year it was and said, oh, 2024, it's a brand new car.
It's a brand new car. And then I looked them up on our way to the hotel because I was like, how much was this? And it was like 70,000 pounds. Oh, God. Thank God we returned that. I was like, not our problem now. Bye.
Yeah, that was fun. And then we took the bus because we dropped the car off at the airport.
Yeah.
And then we took the bus to downtown. And as we were going through Edinburgh to get to our hotel, we stayed at the Travelodge. It was the cheapest option.
Yeah.
Kind of we're looking at places like, oh, we should go there. We should do this. We should do that. But we were so tired. We just went to McDonald's and slept.
Isn't that when you decided you had to grab the bar or something in the... Yeah. Okay, you're thinking of it now. Yeah. You had to grab the bar. We hit a bump or something and
we were sitting in
we
this...
were packed in.
We were sitting in this travel express bus from the airport and we were sitting across from each other because there wasn't enough room to sit next to each other. And it's like the 4 seats that are facing one another and there was this elderly couple sitting beside us and it was getting kind of rough because he kept having to slam on his brakes and we would fly back and forth. So you were hanging on to the bar.
Yeah, because I have a shit sense of equilibrium already
and
like
sitting
being on the buses are just like I can't do it.
Yeah, you were sitting backwards too, which wasn't helpful.
Yeah, well, we were facing each other.
Yeah, but
I was sitting backwards on the bus.
And then I needed to grab the bar, so for fun, I grabbed her hand.
It was no. It was not it.
And she pulled it away super dramatically, making the most disgusted face possible.
It was not it. I was tired. I was grumpy. Don't touch me. But she touched me. And I don't like that. No.
And the elderly gentleman sitting next to her thought it was hysterical.
I know. And then his wife was kind of like giving him the eye, like, honey, stop it. Stop looking at these two people.
Really funny.
Yeah, and then you were trying to do it again because I was disgusted.
To specify, we are not a couple.
No, we are not. We act like it. No, we are not. Most definitely not. We've just been together far too fucking long.
I'm sure they thought we were a couple.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. And I was disgusted that you were trying to hold my hand on a train.
You're so disturbed. It was so funny. I'll do it again.
No. Never do it again.
It was the perfect because you were completely not expecting it, and you just look so disturbed. And you're making the face now. People can't see your face, but it's pretty great.
I was disturbed. I still am disturbed.
It was the best moment of the trip.
How dare you? I was tired.
So yeah, that was like our laid back driving to Edinburgh, and then the next day we decided we had passed the Surgeons Hall Museum on the way to our hotel the day before, so we thought let's go there. And didn't realize exactly how interesting it was actually going to be.
It was amazing. Like, the Surgeons Hall was phenomenal. If you're squeamish,
it's not a great place.
No, because they literally have amputated body parts in jars of formaldehyde.
From the 1800s.
From the 1800s. Like, they have it, like, throughout history. There was eyes, there was...
The wall of eyes was a little uncanny.
The wall of eyes was uncanny, but they had everything.
Yeah, the history of body snatching was pretty... Like, I knew about it, but it was really interesting to read and to see. Because in the 1800s, for surgeons to get bodies, they would steal them from graves that were fresh, or from criminals who died, they would be donated to the surgeons. But then people actually started murdering individuals to sell the body because it's worth money. And so there was I remember this one exhibit where there were these women who had been murdered by these two men, and they were lured to their deaths, and their bodies were sold. And one of them, her heart was on display, and you could see the stab wound still.
I think they had that too. I remember the display showing a murder victim who was also stabbed, and what the stab wound looked like through their heart. Yeah,
it was really cool. And then on the other side of the exhibit are the body snatchers who had murdered them because they themselves were criminals who got convicted and sentenced to death.
So it was really interesting. They don't allow any pictures inside,
understandably,
which is understandable. Like, they had everything in jars, and it was quite graphic. So not obviously something you'd want to put out into the world,
and maybe not bring children.
But it was really interesting. Like, if you're not squeamish and you ever get a chance to go, like, I highly recommend it.
They also had that modern exhibit where you got to do the questionnaires and play the video games.
Yeah, they had one video game. I like playing it. It was a surgeon. Like a neurosurgeon or something. So you had to put your hands in, and then it would read your hands how steady, and then you had to take things out of almost like, what's that, Operation?
Yeah, like the game Operation.
Yeah, but you used actual technology that they had. There was ones you had to like pick up pencils with these utensils and stuff like that. It was really interesting. I quite enjoyed that exhibit.
I kind of liked the mix of like, this is the old, and then look at the new technology and stuff. That was really interesting. And I liked answering all the questionnaire.
Evolved. But yeah, that was super interesting. Even... Obviously, neither of us are doctors or anything, but it was still really...
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And then we had a fancy lunch at Tattoo Restaurant.
We did. I found this restaurant on TikTok. I had been watching, and it was called Tattoo. Oh, it was so nice.
It was amazing.
It was all fake flowers and trees in there.
The cherry blossoms. The food was amazing.
It was a little bit expensive.
It's like is it Japanese or Chinese fusion?
Chinese fusion.
Okay, yeah.
I think. It was a little bit more expensive, but you got to remember we come from a country where our money is nothing.
Yeah. And the table was a mirror, which was really cool.
It was. But it wasn't too bad. Like, I think we got was it 3 or 4 course meal?
Something that we got
extras.
A meal for 2, and then both ordered an extra dish, and then we just shared all the dishes.
Yeah. We got a dessert that came with it, and that dessert was astounding.
It was beautiful. And the drinks were beautiful. And
the drinks were beautiful.
Shout out to our waiter who bought us drinks
and gave us 2 free drinks.
And said, "Welcome to Scotland." And he was amazing.
That was amazing. Everyone in Scotland was just so friendly.
So friendly.
it was a trip to remember. I definitely want to go back to Scotland. If I had to go
Mhm.
there and just choose one place, I would definitely go to Scotland again.
Yeah, except for the one lady that we had to deal with in the resort who was a little cranky,
That's fine.
but which is fine. But like for the most part, even at the airport, all the security guards and things, they were so nice.
Right? When we accidentally almost brought water on board because we forgot we still had water bottles in our backpack.
So we're just switching from one flight to the other. We didn't even think about
We
it.
didn't even think about it. And then the guy was just like, I'm just going to toss this, okay? And we're like, oh, thank you. And I didn't even dump the water back and give us the water bottles
Yeah,
back.
just the empty bottle. He's like, so you
Like-
can use it again.
You wouldn't have done that in Toronto. We probably would have been strip searched. They would have been like, what
Oh,
do
yeah.
you have in these water bottles?
They would kick you out of the security line to go and check your bag for everything. So yeah, Canadians aren't as nice as we seem because the people in Scotland are way nicer.
Oh yeah, like I don't know where Canada's came from. Scotland, yeah, top tier. But yeah, and those desserts that we had at that restaurant, once we got them, it was like a cream. It looked like a tree standing on a misty
Yeah,
something.
A lot of dry ice.
A lot of dry ice, which dry ice was very popular in
Mhm,
Scotland. They
mhm.
used it a lot. But as soon as these dishes came out, I was laughing because the tables next to us was like, "What's that?" They were pulling their waiters aside and they're like, "What's that? Can we get that too?" And they're like, "Yeah, actually."
And it was all the food we had there was good.
Oh, it was delicious.
Like
You had the black truffle
broccoli.
broccoli.
And you don't even really like vegetables and you ate half of that.
I did. That was so good.
And then we did the noodles.
Yeah, we did the noodles.
And
And
the-
you know what? Giant portions. We
Oh,
had
yeah. We had so much food.
we had so much food.
The beef, we did the chicken stir fry.
Yeah.
And then we both had appetizers. I think I did spring rolls. I don't remember what you had.
They gave us prawn crackers.
Yeah, and I think
in the
maybe we
beginning, but
both
you don't
did
like
spring
those.
rolls.
Because yeah, they gave us like those prawn chips or whatever.
Oh, and the beef. Yeah, the beef was good.
The beef was good. But yeah, a lot of food, and we were kind of just waddling around.
And
after.
side of rice.
And a side of rice, a big side of rice.
It was great.
It was fantastic. But yeah, we definitely waddled around for a bit after that.
And then to kind of like close up our trip, we went to Portobello Beach because I wanted to go to the ocean because I haven't been there in years and I used to live on the coast of Canada. So it was really nice to go to the beach and hang out, and there was nobody at the beach. It was great.
No, there was nobody at the beach. And it was nice seeing it, but I can honestly say at that point I was done. I was
You were
over it.
done. I was like, I need to taste the salt water.
And I was just like, yay, pretty beach,
I mean,
ocean.
it was also kind of rainy, so we didn't stay too long.
Yeah, no, we didn't stay too long. I'm glad we got to go see it. But yeah, by that point, I was done. I was going to go anywhere that you told me to go until we go back to our hotel room. So
Yeah,
I could die.
I could tell she was miserable, so I was like, okay, we're going to go. Plus, we were both so full,
We were so full. We were so tired.
like waddling
We
little
did sit. They
walruses.
had live music out after we ate for a bit, and we sat and we listened to live music
Mm-hmm.
in just a random square.
Yeah, it was nice. Like
Yeah.
the kids playing bagpipes.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Very Scottish.
Very Scottish.
And then, so then we went to the airport, and do you remember when we went onto the express bus and you went up to the driver and asked him if this was the bus to the airport?
Yeah, and he's like, I hope so.
Very
I was like,
helpful.
I hope so too. I'm just trying to get home, sir. He was so funny though. He laughed at me.
Yeah, he did. Oh, I mean, you were very entertaining.
And then I'm pretty sure, didn't the security person laugh at me too?
Oh, they all laughed at you.
Yeah, they
see?
all laughed at me. But I was like, I'm just making sure this bus goes to the airport, okay?
Yeah, it was good. And then we had our 7.5 hour flight,
Mm-hmm.
and the poor person stuck sitting next to me because I was smushed in the middle. He was, because we were flying to Toronto, he also had to go back the way we had come to go to the east coast of Canada.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was heading Nova Scotia way.
Yeah, we kind of made friends. We were friendly.
Yeah, we made friends. I mean, I was more concerned at that point as we were landing in Toronto and everything about my lawn because we
Yeah,
had been done for 2 weeks.
You entertained everyone sitting around us by freaking out about your lawn.
It had been like 2 weeks. I live in a very wet place and it grows so fucking fast.
There was this couple sitting in front of us, a little bit older than us, and they turned
Yeah.
around and they said, "Oh, we haven't been back in a month. You'll be fine."
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. If you live in Toronto, yeah, sure, you'll be fine, but not here. It was, my neighbor thought I died. Like I had someone staying looking after my animals. My neighbor, who's a very nice older gentleman, came over halfway through and was like, "Where's the girl who owns the house?" My friend looking after the house was like, "Oh, she just went to Europe. She'll be back." It was when I got home. I mowed my lawn that night. I couldn't not. And he came over not even 10 minutes into me mowing. "Oh, you're back." I'm like, "Yes, thank you."
It's sweet that he looks out for you.
It is sweet that he looks out for me.
So worried about your lawn, and everyone around us was so entertained.
Because I knew I was going to get back and I was going to be so tired, and the lawn takes me like an hour and a half.
We were sitting at the gate waiting for them to open the door, so we were talking about it, and people kept asking us if we had gone to Taylor Swift, which we did not.
No, but apparently it's very common. Even my personal trainer was talking about how she wants to go see, what are they called? It's a big rock band. I'll think of it later. Anyway, she was going to go see them, and she said all the tickets were outrageously like $3,000 for floor tickets. But if she goes to London, cheaper. She said they were $300.
Yeah, a lot of people were doing that.
So she's going to go do that this summer. She's going to go to London and go see them. I get it, because I wouldn't want to pay.
No, it's
like
cheaper to fly
was
there.
our entire 2-week trip.
Pretty much.
That's gross.
Yeah, no. But yeah, then we spent the day in Toronto and then flew back.
Yeah, and that's our trip to London.
That's our trip to London.
It was a lot, writing this episode and getting everything down on paper.
Trying to remember all the things we did.
Trying to remember all the things we did. We did a lot.
And we survived each other.
We survived, yeah. We're not
My
friends anymore.
My whole family thought we were never going to talk to one another afterwards, and then I saw you the next day.
Yeah, so that is our big trip to Europe that we survived. We survived. Had our adventures
and somehow got the travel bug, because we were gonna hopefully go on a trip coming up soon.
We're gonna take another trip. We do want to plan more, because we do have the bug now.
Should we tell
I'm always
them?
looking at flights. Should we?
Yeah.
Should we tell them?
So we're gonna drive to Louisiana to go to New Orleans.
Yeah. For 3 days, we're gonna stay in New Orleans.
And then I'm dragging you to Kentucky to go to the Creation Museum, which I'm so excited about.
Which we'll have so much fun. We're gonna be doing that at the end of May. So you'll have that to look forward to.
Yeah, we're gonna stick around. We're going to make a video about planning the trip, and then we'll talk about what we did and how it went. And
yeah, because there's a couple things down there, like definitely the food. We'll show you guys the food, because when you go down to New Orleans, you got to go see the food.
And the river.
And
cruises,
the river and the jazz and there's so much down there
the
that we got to see.
bayou and the crocs.
Hey, I've eaten alligator before. Delicious. Eat them again.
That's for me.
That's what you get for being an apex predator.
That's the way to end this video.
That's the way to end this video. That's all for today. Catch us on Instagram, where we drop teasers for the next show, and our Discord account. Links are down below.